Hello, everybody. It's Ken Iverson back in Kent, Washington, USA, on the morning of September 4th, 2010. It's now 9:13 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Daylight Time. Excuse me. And I was just in the middle of a letter I wrote overnight to President Obama and will put in the mail today at my local post office. I had just finished about half the letter, and I'm going to continue now reading that letter, and we'll probably get through it in this segment. This will be another 15-minute segment. So let me say, I say to President Obama, you make me feel politically relevant for the first time since I was a young man and John F. Kennedy was president. I am eternally grateful to you for that. And then I say, talking of JFK, sometimes I worry about you. It only takes one nut to change the course of history. Look at Lee Harvey Oswald, Sirhan, and James Earl Ray. I want to make an aside here. I didn't include this in the letter. I believe that the Warren Commission had it right when it came to Lee Harvey Oswald. I believe he was a lone assassin of JFK. I think the reason that people have had conspiracy theories from uh, from Mark Lane, Rush to Judgment right after Kennedy was shot, and the district attorney in New Orleans, what was his name? Garrison, was that his name? Garrison, Jim Garrison. Anyway, the district attorney in New Orleans had a conspiracy theory also, had something to do with Cuba or something such as that. And I think it's too difficult for us to wrap our brains around the fact that one person could do something so horrendous and so hurtful to us individually as a nation that we just cannot comprehend it. Therefore, we concoct uh, conspiracy theories. As smart as Mark Lane was, I believe that he succumbed to that wanting to explain, to have a bigger meaning to to the horrendous thing that Lee Harvey Oswald did. I believe on his own. I think he was a lone assassin. That's just my personal belief, and you know what they say about. That's my opinion. You know what they say about opinions. Um, so let me go on here. And this will be difficult for me. If you watch the last segment, you know it was difficult for me to get through, and this will be equally difficult, maybe more so. Any of us who were alive when JF Kennedy was assassinated, or Martin Luther King, or Robert Kennedy, or for that matter, Malcolm X, knows what it's like to lose a president. And I know from personal experience from a very young age what it's like to lose a parent. And I know what it's like for my mother to have lost two husbands. My mother is 90 years old. She's lost two husbands, one in 1953, my father, and one in 2000, my stepfather, Ed Turner. My mother's been through a lot of shit too. Anyway, let me read on with my letter now to President Obama. It says, those were the three saddest days of my political life and rank right up there with the death of my father in 1953 and when I found out that Dr. Gregg had died in March of 2006. As I said, shit happens. I do not want it to happen with you. I'm talking to President Obama now. I am 67 years old and I've had enough shit in my lifetime. President Obama, take care of yourself. Michelle, Malia, and Sasha need you. And I need you. and the country needs you. We know what's going to happen if the Republicans take over in November of 2010. If they take control of the House and the Senate, we know what's going to happen. They're going to repeal everything that you've done, the marvelous things you've done in the last year and a half. They have promised Mitch McConnell of the Senate, the Democrat, a Republican from Kentucky, the ranking Senate member, Republican, said after health care reform, or maybe it was before health care reform, that would be the overriding issue in the November election, was to be the repeal of health care reform. We cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen. So anybody who's listening to this, vote Democrat in November. Otherwise, we're going to go back to the failed policies of George W. Bush. And TARP happened on September 16th and 17th, 2008. About 2 months, a little less than 2 months before Obama was even elected. And he took office in January of 2009. So don't tell me that the Republicans have the answer, because they don't. They're the party of no. They have nothing constructive to offer about anything. They got religion when it came to health care reform because Obama shook things up. And then they wanted to preempt that. And then when it looked like health care reform would pass, there was a summit. President Obama held a summit. You may recall that. I watched it on C-SPAN. And it looked like we were going to go to reconciliation, the process whereby it takes less than a supermajority to pass legislation, to pass it out of committee, out of the Senate. And when that happened, it looked like we were going to reconciliation, John McCain, the presidential candidate in 2008, said, "Mr. President, don't do that." And President Obama said, and this was delightful, President Obama said, "Look at John, you lost, get over it." And I say the same thing to you, McCain. You were a war hero, but you're not cut out to be president. And I'm really glad that you did not win and that we have President Obama. Sorry, you were a great war hero, but you would not have made a good president. So let me go on with my letter. I say, take extra good care of yourself. My heart would break if anything happened to you, and I do not want Michelle to lose you as my 90-year-old mother has lost 2 husbands, my father and my stepfather, in 2000. Most of all, I do not want Malia and Sasha to experience the pain of losing you as I did with my father. Take care of yourself. Promise me you will. I'm going to sign off now. My butt is getting sorer and sorer as I type this, and I have not eaten since dinner. It is now 2:33 a.m., Saturday, September 4th, 2010. I will sign off in 2 ways, both of which I am proud of. And then I signed it, Ken Iverson, Peace Day, President, CEO, Organizer, Kent, Washington, USA. And then under that I have Ken Iverson, OFA, Community Organizer, and Obama Democrat, Kent, Washington, USA. And then I have, remember, this is being sent to the White House. There's no guarantee that President Obama will read this. So I have put this P.S. on the end of the letter that I've just written, that I just read to you. I say, P.S. Whoever is reading this right now, please acknowledge that you have read the above, either by you, President Obama, or by one of the people who reads the mail from which you get the 10 letters a night to read. I have been engaged in a campaign primarily on Facebook excuse me, which I call Journey to Peace, since July 18th, 2010, when I posted what I call my Doomsday Armageddon scenario on Facebook. On the evening of the 18th, I received an email from Mohammed Ishfaq Bat, B-H-A-T, asking me to check the video of the British woman journalist captured by the Taliban in Afghanistan, and for me to check out the videos of Sheikh Khalid Yassin, or Yassini. I have seen that his name spelled both ways because before making any more posts on Facebook, Bot wanted me to check out the video of Yvonne Ridley. It turns out the woman's name was. She's an English born, I guess, journalist who was covering the war in Afghanistan, and she was captured by the Taliban. And the story, she thought she was going to be killed. And the story she tells is of a Taliban that was understanding, caring, concerned, and compassionate, particularly about her health. And when I saw that video, I changed my idea of what the Taliban was about. And then, in recent weeks, I am wondering now, I am in a quandary as to what the Taliban is really about. With the story of Bibi, the young woman, the 17-year-old, I believe she's 17 or 18-year-old, who had her nose and ears cut off by her Taliban husband at the behest of a Taliban leader. Bibi had done something horrendous like disobeying her husband for God knows what. And I guess I'm getting on my high horse again. Anyway, she had her ears cut. She's in Sherman Oaks, California right now. Diane Sawyer has championing the cause of Bibi over the last year or so. She's in Sherman Oaks, California, having a year's worth of reconstructive surgery done on her nose and on her ears. Let's see, I have a magazine around here someplace with Bibi. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Well, I'm not seeing it right now, but you've probably seen the cover of Time magazine a couple of weeks ago. It shows a picture of Bibi. There was another very famous Time magazine cover of another Afghan woman. I don't recall her name. It was one of the most famous ever of Time magazine covers. And they went back. The first woman, the first Afghan woman. They went back many years later and found her and got her story. I don't remember what it was now, but Bibi is going to be like this first Afghan woman. She's going to be famous. And Bibi, I don't know if we'll ever meet. I don't know if you understand English well enough, but my heart goes out to you. You're beautiful to me. If we ever meet, I know that it's not, I was going to say kosher. That's not the right word. It's not okay for a man to touch a woman, particularly during Ramadan. And it's not even okay for a man to touch another man during Ramadan unless they're brothers, unless they're friends. But Bibi, if we ever meet, I would love to give you a hug. I believe everybody needs at least 11 hugs a day just to survive. So maybe we can discuss that if we ever meet. Anyway, the second thing that changed my view, or I'm wondering about the Taliban now, is a murder of the